What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. It's a big week for Run Pure members across both NBA and NFL. Let's get into the winners. In the NBA streets, Bowl 800 turned $12 into 4K. C. Corms turned $76 into 4K as well. Leroy hit for $4,600, while Y Guy 223 shipped for $12,000. Our guy AP joined in the fun, hitting for $8,000. Turning to NFL, it was another great week for us, especially when it came to Showdown. I parlayed my appearance on our premium Thursday night Print Factory show into 61K, featuring a lineup with Dallas Goedert in the captain spot. RPS coordinators were all over the Goedert captain play, appearing not only in my premium attack plan, but Mangone pushed it as well, helping Nadesify ship for over 67K, while Pete Vegas hit for $7,200 over on FanDuel, but the biggest hit came on Monday Night Showdown, where RPS content was all over Kenyon Drake in the captain spot. Captain Drake was pushed on our free Showdown show by special guest Chris Randone, in addition to our Talking Touchdown show with Spread, Tyler, and Title, where Tyler called his shot, nailing the Drake call ahead of shipping $29,000 for himself.
75% of carries, like he's going to be unowned, like low owned because of his price. He's got to be even more low owned as a captain because his price jumps even more. If he scores 2 touchdowns in this one, you could be golden.
Guys, if you have not subscribed to our free YouTube channel, take a second right now and get it done. Racer 1A joined in with a 10K hit from Showdown. Kanoski 69 hit for 22K as well. Locks rode Drake Captain to a 30K score to continue his heater, while I shipped 2 more King of the Beach seats. But the biggest win was by Run Pure member Homebrew, who hit the perfect unique lineup, solo shipping for a monster $500,000. He joined our NFL First Look show to talk about his big night.
Randone just mentioned at the end of the show, the very end, it was the last lineup I made. It was the end of the show, and he said, Kenyon Drake, captain. And I was like, well, I don't have one of those. Let me make one of those.
Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button right now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
It's the Old Guys Pod. It's an interesting show. If you're listening on a podcast, you cannot see what Spread Astaire's background is today. We have JT Hayes, of course. We've got Uncle T, who I believe has another girls' volleyball game to call tonight. Is that why you need to run? Why are we doing this tonight?
What's the question, Holden?
Okay, so Spread, anyways, if you see Spread's room right now, so he's got the RPS logo behind him. It looks to be, what is that, Spread? An old school stationary bike with green walls. And from what I understand, it looks like the outline of a chalk from a murdered person. Talk to me, what is up with this? What is with this room, dude? Green.
My body's just tired. I didn't feel like setting up the standing desk, so I'm just sitting down here, and I got 2 screens going. So
sure it is. I'm sure.
I want to know what did you paint it green?
Yeah,
it's a very green wall.
Yeah, it's real green, huh?
JT
I said
green?
JT shirt, my wall. It's going to be a great combo.
Uncle T, talk to us here. Why are we doing the show tonight, my friend?
Well, because
Tuesday.
I missed Spread the last couple of weeks because Spread, outside of me and JT, is probably the most important person on this show. So it's good to have Spread back on the show. I know he got back to his normal hours, so it's good to have him back. And yeah, I do have an event tomorrow night, so I appreciate you boys being able to record tonight. I don't know that we got, on a Tuesday, it's really difficult to give a lot of NFL information, obviously. So, but hey, it's good to be back with you guys.
JT, talk to me, brother. What are you doing in life this week? What's happened this week? Have you gone to the grocery store? Have you had a chance to, I don't know, hit the workbench? What's the been like for JT? We're only on Tuesday.
I went to the gym today. I was busy today, but I went to the gym and I did a bunch of biceps and back day. So that was nice. And I did a bunch of leg press. And as you notice, if you watch this, actually, if anyone at Run Pure remembers to tweet this out and tell people that it's up this fucking week, which would be nice. then maybe they'll know about it. You'll see Quinn is back there. Quinn usually doesn't hang out with me during, the nighttime because my wife is home, but she was telling me earlier, Quinn was, that she's only seen Holden sober and she wants to see this version of Holden. And
no, I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint.
Well, that's not a surprise. I mean, I think much of your life is disappointing people.
Well, no, I'm sober.
Yeah, whether it be your girlfriend because you have one, but we did call in a favor with the warden, and we've got Spread in the penitentiary gymnasium, and so we're excited. We're excited that he's back. I mean, it's been a long couple of weeks. The Stockton serial killer is in prison, and Spread is not. So there you go.
Holden, did you get a haircut or something? It looks like you got a little less on top there.
I did. I got a lot of lettuce chopped off.
Yeah,
a lot of lettuce chopped off.
That looks awful. I mean, who? I mean,
I liked it. It was good, but then I started finding like kitty litter and like all sorts of interesting.
They went real thin on the sides there.
Yeah, you got to go tight.
Real thin.
1.5s on the sides. What about you, Uncle T? What do you do on the sides?
I do a 1.5 as well. I'm actually getting ready to go tomorrow, Holden. So yeah, I'm getting ready to go tomorrow. Mine's a lot more gray than yours because I don't color mine like you do, you donkey.
But I'll tell you, like the little swirly thing on the back of my head.
Yeah, you're going bald. What are you, like 50? How old are you? 53 or 4? How old are you?
I don't think I'm going bald, buddy.
Oh, it's bald. Put it back up there, son. There's a bald spot, Foreman.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's always been there.
Yeah, it's bald.
That swirly's always been there. I've been bald my whole life then.
Well,
same.
Yeah. JT came out bald. Never. What is the thing that Charlie Villanueva had, JT? What was that called?
It's not what I have. What I have is
I know. Alopecia, maybe? Is that what it was? He had no eyebrows, no hair at all. He was just hairless.
That's not my problem. My problem is more so growing hair where I don't really want it. So, but we get over that.
You know what? That's a great point you bring up because there's like neck hair and shit now. I haven't started with the back hair, but I'm sure that's on the way.
I don't have that.
No back. Uncle T definitely has back bush. 100%.
No, I don't. I've got mine on the front a little bit. Not a lot, but I don't have any on the back. None. I got hairy arms too.
I don't believe you.
Well, I mean,
Prove
you're
it.
not going to find out. Holden, sorry.
Prove it, Uncle T.
No, hey, this brings up. We can bring up a nice little.
Listen,
who are some sports guys? JT's been bald his whole life. Who are some sports guys that had real bad lettuce? The one comes to mind, Rasheed Wallace. Remember Rasheed Wallace? He had that bad thing in the back of his hair. I don't know what it was, but who are some guys that had some bad lettuce?
Can't focus on anything but what your back might look like and the fact that you're not showing it.
I guarantee you there's back hair.
Maybe you know why? No. Maybe it's because Uncle T has a Virgin Mary tattooed on his back.
That's definitely confirmed. No, I have no tattoos.
Spread thoughts on Uncle T and back hair.
I'm surprised. I'm the only one who has that issue, huh?
You got the back hair.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I should bring my daughter. My daughter's in the other room. She just brought me water. She'll tell you.
Sure.
What do you think, Spread? You think he's got back hair, yay or nay?
I believe him. I always believe him.
The back's a definite, I'm being honest. The front, not so much.
Spread's not in a position to go on record doubting anything we say.
Spread has missed a couple weeks, so he's going to be on good behavior this week.
Yeah, I am. I'm on great behavior. I'm sitting here listening, and I'm just, I've been listening to the pod, and I go, JT, no wonder you guys can't catch anyone. No one has any basements in California. He's thinking I have surgical gloves in the basement. We don't have basements out here, JT.
Yeah, so JT.
Listen, tell your buddies you got it all wrong out here.
You build the basement because exactly that reason. No one is smart enough to think, hey, maybe they built a little trap door here. I got you figured all out, Spread. I got it all figured out.
So the other day, I was at Cabela's. You guys know what Cabela's is? Bass Pro Shop, same thing. They call it Bass Pro Shops on one side and Cabela's on the West Coast, I guess.
Is this going to be 30 seconds or less? Because it doesn't sound very good, like a good story. So.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Because
30 seconds or less.
I went to the back of the store to see the safes for the rifles and stuff. And I said to myself, it was a $3,500 safe, Spread. And I figured you could put at least 4 bodies in there. And nobody at all would know what was in there too. The very thick safe. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know how I became from Spread Astaire to Trey Al Capone here. I guess tax evasion is going to be their only chance of catching me now. So JT can let his buddies know. I'm out on bail once again. I'm the Gotti of Yosemite. You're just not going to be able to get me here.
Brett, is that a cat or a fucking mini wolf behind you? What is going on back there? Is that a cat pleasuring itself?
That's what cats do. You would if
that
you
is my
could.
cat.
Quinn, look at Quinn, resting comfortably, sleeping, just waiting for intoxicated Holden to show his face.
Hey, Uncle Tizzy.
There she goes.
How'd the World Series go for you? I was so happy to see Dusty Baker finally get a World Series as a manager. 2 times he was left for dead. I mean, he got lucky with the Nats job. He got very lucky getting the Astros job. You remember that? Complete debacle. Hey, let's just bring Dusty in here to try and salvage something. I'm so happy for Dusty Baker. The 2 teams I couldn't give a shit about though. But did you win money?
Yeah, I mean, starting with Dusty, I mean, real quick. I mean, obviously he was here in Cincinnati and I liked him quite a bit. I mean, I've been a Dusty guy. I think he's a good guy. He's been around the game a long time. It was great to see him, finally get a world championship. Not as big a fan of Houston. However, Holden, I did pretty well. I'm usually struggle mightily with the World Series the last couple of years. I've picked a lot of losers, and I mean, we had a good run. If you remember this show last Tuesday or Wednesday when we did it, it was on the eve of Game 4, and I talked about that. Game 4 was pivotal because if they could beat Nola in Game 4, you had Verlander and Noah Syndergaard in Game 5, and it just set up to where, again, baseball's all momentum. We talked about it. They won Game 4. They were able to sneak by in Game 5, and then you saw what happened in Game 6. So, I did pretty well. I didn't want to bet the 190 at the start, minus 190 or minus 200. So I ended up I got the ticket right here in front of me, plus 120, minus 1.5 games. So after 3 games, I was down 2-1 and ended up winning the next 3. So I was able to cash a nice ticket at minus 1.5 games was plus 120 spread. That was not looking good after 3 games, but hey, they don't ask Cal when you go up and take that ticket up there. They don't say, hey, how did it work out? They just pay you the money, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm a big Dusty Baker guy too. He's a NorCal guy. He actually grew up in the Sacramento area. So we're really excited for him there to get that win.
Thanks for adding that spread.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think that the Northern California guys get enough credit here.
I love Spread Astaire. And real quick, your boy Tyler, can we just give Tyler some props on this is the betting guy, Tyler. He did not ever play DFS till 2 years ago, and he just hit for what, 22K last night? Is that what happened? Football?
Yeah, he hit for 29K.
Woo, 29K. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, we do the talking touchdowns that goes right before the full Showdown show, but we have Title on, and every week, we say, okay, we're not doing the whole thing because the Showdown show is going to take care of you, but Title, at least give us a captain. And he's just been on fire. He gave us Kelsey before the 4 touchdown Monday night game. And then this week, he said, Tyler started out with Kenyon Drake. So we're really excited about that.
Good. Well, Uncle T has to go soon, so we have to talk football.
I don't have to go anywhere. I'm good. Hold
on. So now we can just bullshit, and I can keep you on long.
I did actually go out and look at the comments from last week. I usually don't look at them. There's a couple of them that said they say the same thing every week about how it's not a football show, and they're talking other shit. Well, you know what? We want you to listen every week because we think we give good content. And we're all over the board, and we do eventually get to some football takes. But if you don't want to watch it, don't watch. I mean, we've got we want you to watch, but maybe people were tuning out because spread wasn't there the last couple of weeks. I don't know.
Made it awful uncomfortable. Crickets. Yeah, you made it a little uncomfortable there.
No,
I'm just
now I'm uncomfortable, Uncle T. I don't want to tell people that,
you didn't do your job very well last week.
What happened?
Did you ever figure out how to unblock Uncle T, by the way? That was
no, I never figured it out.
That was pretty hurtful. And Uncle T,
you said I said something hurtful
on the show yesterday, but I didn't know what it was. What did I say on the show on Monday?
Oh, I know. I didn't want to bring it up, but since you did, yeah, JT Holden, I think you guys are going to team up. We're going to team up against Spread here. Yeah, he was leaving the show there. His last comments, final comments after they went off, and he said, "Boy, guys, Tyler, title, yeah, man, this is always my favorite show of the week by far. I really enjoyed this last hour." And I caught that, and I'm like, whoa, that wasn't very, very nice there, Spread. So I don't know, it kind of was hurtful.
Okay, I understand. I was like, I didn't even talk bad about the Bengals or anything, so I couldn't figure it out. But that makes sense.
I do shows with Big T and Hoop, and they say the same thing after every show too. I mean, it's just kind of the way to make everybody feel good, and it's like, yeah, this is great, and then they forget about you for like 6 days. I'm sure Spread is going to say the same thing after this show. So, and you're right, Holden. It's not purely a football show. It's purely an entertainment show. It's an entertainment show. People come here to be entertained, and some people wait the 35 minutes until we go through the slate 4 days before anything matters. And I'm happy for those people's views. Unlike Uncle T, I wish they would keep viewing us.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Uncle T. If you don't want to watch. That's going to be the slogan of the show, JT. If you don't want to watch, just watch.
Just watch.
Or listen.
Anyway.
You can listen to it too, but we do not support Uncle T on that message. No, if you don't want to watch or listen to this,
I'll table your all's comments to the higher ups later this week. Full disclosure, I haven't talked to Big T since like Saturday, so
he's been a little busy.
We've been we've had some issues the last few days. I've let them kind of work that out with the suits. None of us
is that
fall
because
into that category.
On the Sunday morning show, he called Joe Mixon Ezekiel Elliott before Joe Mixon went for 4 touchdowns and broke the slate. Was that the final straw there?
Is that his Winnie the Pooh of football? Winnie the Pooh baseball? Now you got Joe Mixon in football. He might have just set Joe Mixon up on a huge tear. I'm going to play him whenever I can from now on. That's it. He's on fire.
Yeah, I was watching the show. I said, I better take him out of all the lineups. And then,
we got
put
next
him in there
week,
this week, Holden.
Next week, yeah. That's it.
No, this week.
Huh?
They're on bye this week. You can
that's why I said play him next week.
Damn, you're too short.
Sunday, I don't
come
know.
prepared.
I don't know how it was for Uncle T or Spread, but Sunday this week was one of those weeks where I was joking with my wife about something I didn't do earlier. And I said, no, am I perfect every day? No, I'm not. And she goes, only on Sundays. I said, well, not this Sunday, honey.
This is my first one. I didn't even get them in cash. It didn't turn out very well.
Wow. Looks like, do we have a clean sweep, Uncle T? Because it has been a very profitable NFL season, but last week was not a good one. It was an awful one.
I got beat pretty good.
We all got killed.
I had 8 teams and I cashed on one out of 8.
I had 8 teams and I cashed on 0 until Showdown.
That's one more than I did. And you know what? It's good to be transparent about this because days like this happen. I think when you do this every week, every day, DFS on all these different sports. And when I was first starting this out, I would hedge. I would be like, all right, I think this pitcher is going to get lit up, but I'm going to put him in a couple of lineups just in case. Or in NFL, I think this team sucks and they're going to get, smashed, but I'm going to put them in a couple of lineups just in case. And I don't do it anymore. And that leads to better, bigger days when you're right. And it leads to days like Sunday where I look midway through the games at 1 p.m. because there were only 2 4 p.m. games. And I'm like, all right, let's just get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did that like 3 hours before you, but I still enjoyed.
You knew before lock you were getting smoked.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? We got bad mojo going today. We're all losing money. What are you gonna do? It's week 10, and this is the first time that I legit got blitzed. It was horrible. And I said to myself, you know what? What was this week 9? Week 8 was my best week of the year, and I gave most of it back last week. Happens.
We joked on the Monday show because I go out to hang out at the bar and watch the games. I sold my Falcons tickets because I just didn't feel like dealing with the hassle and the traffic. And it's actually much more fun to watch all the games at once instead of just one game, which is probably a problem the NFL is going to have for years to come. But So I'm watching. I'm like, all right, and I went pretty heavy on Marcus Mariota due to the matchup, due to how decent he had been, and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, Mixon scored. Okay, Fields scored, no problem. Oh, Mixon again, Fields again. Oh, Mixon a receiving touchdown. All right, let's just stop this and we'll just forget about the day. We'll just forget about the day.
So I have a question for you. Speaking of money. Spread,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to you first. I'm interested in your opinion on this. If you had won the $2.04 billion lottery, right? Are you guys allowed to play lotto in California, or is that illegal?
Yeah, they have it.
Okay. So you'd probably pull about $900 million, right? What's the first thing you're buying?
Probably a new house.
That's it?
Yeah.
You're just stripping it down. How much do you think you'd spend on a new house? Do you need anything more than like $2 or $3 million?
No, I'll probably $2 or $3 million because I get one. I definitely get one out in the hills. I get one out in fire country. It'd probably burn down in a couple years. But
yeah, but
I'd
you'd
get
have
one out
insurance, which you could pay a shit ton for.
there. Yeah.
Uncle T, what would you have bought? A Manscaped?
Spread would buy a house off the grid for sure because of his other lifestyle that he leads. So
Yeah.
he would have to be.
Uncle T, that was funny. Good job.
Solar power, generators.
He needs
No
lots of
cell phones.
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer would be, you pay off. I got a big family. You guys know that. I got a pretty big family on both sides. So I'm sure, it would be family first and, kind of pay off shit for the family probably. That's not a couple mil, that's not like Big T, a couple mil, right? That's big boy money. So, what they get like 450 million after taxes? Was that what it was?
No, 900, probably about 900.
It had to be more than that.
900 million.
That. No, it
they
had to be
take
less
like
than that.
53% in taxes on that shit.
I thought I read 450 or something.
I mean, if you're only getting a quarter of what
a lump sum payout, lump
up.
sum at one time.
Huh. Oh,
all
right. So if you took 400 million, you know what?
Yeah.
I'd take 400 million.
Holden, I may even have you on my list. Maybe scratch a check and send out to Colorado for you. How about that?
I would buy.
I don't know what
I would do. It wouldn't be the
but...
first thing, but in all seriousness, I would finally go to the RPS party. I would get a personal jet, a private jet, and he'd fly me to any city that I wanted, because that's where I would have the RPS party. Tony would not have to do it anymore. I would get hotels.
You probably, like I said, as long as I'm helping with that arrangement each March, you're not going to be there.
Yeah, I already talked to Tony.
I'm going to make sure that you're not going.
He said, "Don't listen
to
Uncle T. Uncle T doesn't know anything."
Are you going to go this year, Holden?
Hoop actually said he might buy me a red carpet. He said it's, I might buy you the red carpet that you're asking for. So
Hoop was lying to you. I can tell you.
I don't know. Hoop really wants to hang out. I don't blame him.
I got the under on Hoop wanting to hang out with you.
Once again, back hair, and you're wrong.
I'm just Holden. When I'm on your side, I'll tell you, I'm not on your side on that one. I don't think Hoop wants to hang out with you.
That hurts.
No, I mean, I'm just being honest. There's people that don't want to hang out with me. I mean, I can't name any of them right now, but there's probably somebody out there that doesn't want to hang out with me.
JT, when you guys were at the party, how much did you hang out with Uncle T? Was it
JT was my guy at the party.
Yeah, old person's bond, right?
I mean, that's insulting to say that it was an old person's bond, because I think Uncle T was in the mix of the main people that were enjoying themselves, and so was I. So we hung out quite a good bit with Hoop, Tony, JSU. Title was there. Spread was not. I hope Spread comes next year.
I'm going to come this year.
Yeah,
for sure.
If he's still free.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think your buddies are really on to me. Like I said, they're looking in basements. We don't even have basements.
And listen, and I'm not dropping any dimes on you, Spread. I'm just we're talking to a small audience that's not going to report anything to the authorities. We know what's going on, and it's our secret. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah,
I really don't want
they're calling me Dexter in the chat on NBA Rundown. So thank you for that, JT.
Do they seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love how this is just spread like a wildfire.
I thought this wouldn't spread.
Yeah.
JT, we even when you ran out of drinks, what did Uncle T do? Let's go, JT. Let's hop right in the car. Let's go right up to the liquor store.
I poured myself into Uncle T's Mustang, and he drove me to this one of the most, I think I've talked about this on on this show before. One of the most incredible liquor stores I've ever seen. You can do everything in this place. I mean, they had everything from cigarettes to cigars to like candy, popcorn, and then this whole array of liquor and beer. It was fantastic. It was a wonderland. And got my Coors Lights, popped them back in the car, opened one up on the way back, even though Uncle T is pretty strict about how clean the car has to be. He let me open up a beer in the car.
That's not true.
On the way back. So there you go. So
that in its own right is a felony.
Felt pretty special. It's not a felony. What Spread does is a felony. But
Just
what I do is
we got multiple criminals on this show. One
I've
who
never
looks
been in jail.
Who looks down upon marijuana. Well, you know, we don't have G Rise it anymore.
I've never been arrested.
Can't talk about that because people get upset. Holden, people get upset.
Who gets upset?
The people in the comments, they get upset when you talk politics. When you talk politics, which is what you do.
What does marijuana have to do with politics?
Because we
I don't
talked
know.
about
You
it at the
started
gas
talking
station.
one night.
They didn't like it. The gas station politics.
They didn't like the gas station.
Right.
Oh,
That was kind of my fault though, because I carried that one over from our other show.
Who cares?
Mhm.
In all
People to be
seriousness,
happy.
some people are going to like content and some people are not, just like we talked about. They'll like the stuff they like. And if there's a hot button issue, which I had no idea was even brought up, good.
Yeah, I didn't even really consider that politics, but sure.
Good.
That may have been one of your less lucid episodes.
That's what happens when you're sober. You say controversial stuff. Had I done it normally,
right,
the conversation probably would not have come up.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true.
But let's talk about it again. Let's revisit it right now. So all right. I do want to talk some NFL. JT, can I just ask you about the Dolphins? Just not only this week. This is other level. Like Tua really, I don't know. It's got to be some Tyreek and Waddle making him look good, but this guy has taken a quantum leap this year. It's amazing. This offense, and now Jeff Wilson Jr. looks like he might be the guy there. Holy moly. I'm so impressed with them. And then DFS, it's almost getting to the point where I just need to make a Miami lineup once a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because in a game, I think it had a 42 total, and there was a lot of people that played Fields. I think Fields was close to 15% owned, a lot higher in cash. And I looked at Fields versus Mariota. There's no question Fields long term is going to be the more dynamic player. But going against a revamped frontline Miami defense, outdoors in Chicago, low total versus Mariota in the Dome against the Chargers, who've been the worst team against the rush in the NFL, it seemed pretty easy to me to take the ownership discount and go with Mariota and try and get my 4X from him. Didn't work out. So a couple of things there, right? What Tua is doing in terms of utilizing Waddle and utilizing Tyreek Hill is very impressive because when he's healthy this season, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And 2 years ago, that would have been something that I would have said would never happen, right? You just couldn't see it happening. What they've done with this Jeff Wilson trade, a couple of things. One, for DFS, it makes either Wilson and anybody else on that team, Mostert, whoever at the running back position, pretty much unplayable in DFS on main slates. You maybe could consider one of them for the smaller slates. But now this week, we're going to see the prices are up here, right? I mean, Tyreek Hill is 9,100 on DraftKings. Tua's price didn't move. Waddle's up to 7,600. So it's interesting. Maybe it's a situation where you look at them and you say, especially against a Cleveland defense that hasn't been very good, especially away from home, which is where they're at this week. And you say, all right, maybe it's a week where I just go Tua, Waddle and leave off Tyreek because there are some of these other receivers with high upside that are $500 to $1,000 below him. But very impressive there. But more impressive than Tua because he has these weapons, because they brought in Jeff Wilson Jr., who had been really good in San Francisco and was made dispensable by the McCaffrey trade, is what Justin Fields has done 2 weeks in a row. One away in Dallas against the Cowboys defense, and then again at home, again, low total against a defense that should have been better. And guess what? He gets the goddamn Lions at home this week. And he's only in the mid-7s on DraftKings. So Fields, to me, what's happening with the Bears offense is really, really impressive, just as much as what we're seeing out of Tua.
Uncle T, thoughts on the Miami Dolphins offense? I know we try to get different with the guys. Maybe you go Gesicki or maybe you throw Sherfield in there, but a little Tua, Tyreek, Waddle stack, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, last week was pretty impressive what both sides of that game did, to be honest with you. Like JT said, it wasn't a very big total in that game. People were worried a little bit about the weather, and both teams, both quarterbacks really shelled out pretty good. And you talk about Tua this week, and obviously Tua to Waddle, I agree. You got Tyreek Hill up there at 9,100, his highest price tag of the year. Obviously, no Kupp, no Jefferson on the slate. And Tyreek's been incredible, right? No doubt about it. But I do like JT's thought that if you're going to play Tua, maybe pair him with Waddle. I agree also that the running back situation, we didn't know last week. I was high on Mostert. We weren't sure how they were going to utilize Wilson. If 1 week was any indication, it's literally going to be a 50-50 split. And that's something we don't want to be a part of. 9 carries for each guy. So I'll be off of that part of it. But I got a little bit more interest maybe in getting a little bit different, going to the other side of the ball and going with Jacoby Brissett. Now, hear me out, though. You're going down to 5,400. You just saw what, and I know Brissett doesn't run like Fields and such like that, but, Fields still threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Cole Kmet, who hasn't done a whole lot of anything. More on that later on when we talk about the tight end position, because I like Njoku a little bit if he's going to be back in the lineup this week. They struggled a little bit last week defending the tight end position, and then Darnell Mooney even caught a ball. So if you think that the Miami Dolphins are going to probably win this game, which at home they're favored by 3 or 4, almost a 49 total. So you think it's going to go back and forth. I think Miami probably gets the lead and gets ahead. I like kind of Brissett in a trailing game script. Maybe to add with Cooper and then even Nick Chubb's probably in play. So I kind of like this might be my game stack on our site this week that I try to target because I like it quite a bit.
Donovan Peoples-Jones has been going bananas.
Yeah, we're gonna, when we get into receiver, I got to take on that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted just to know about the Miami side. I didn't really care about the other side, but thanks, Uncle T. And then spread. Any thoughts on the Dolphins offense, or should we just get into Jeff Saturday and then we'll go position by position like we normally do?
I mean, okay, so for DFS, we completely agree, right? Tua is awesome. Tua is the man. But as far as this guy actually being an awesome quarterback, I mean, they don't even cover against the Bears, right? I mean, it's not like that was the most impressive performance that we've ever seen. And you're going to say, oh, well, that's not his fault. He put up 35. Well, they had 2 chances to put that away. And he was, he missed a wide open dump off, things like that. I don't think necessarily that Tua is that good. I think that this offense is that good. And this is the best receiving combo we've seen. Someone was saying ever. I'm like, well, you guys know that Tim Brown and Jerry Rice were on the same team once, right? I mean, so I don't know about that, but I'm not. I mean, if it, I was hearing stuff. Oh, Tua for MVP. No, Tyreek should be the MVP of that team, not Tua. But for daily fantasy, I mean, you guys have it on the head. I mean, you can't get away from this team. This offense is just absolutely humming. But I'm not ready to crown this guy as the top 5 quarterback because he's throwing to guys that are open by 5 yards.
But you can. Wait a second. So hold on. So this is a guy who throughout his NFL career to this point has had Waddle. He had Devontae Parker. Granted, Devontae Parker is not Tyreek Hill, but you can't argue that because he missed a couple of guys with the game on the line, that he's not improved spread, right? I mean,
no, he's much better, but I'm just saying, like, when people are talking about him as a top 5 quarterback, I just don't.
He's a top 5 DFS quarterback.
DFS, yeah, but and you guys nailed the DFS. That's why I didn't go and and just repeat what you said, because Miami stack. I mean, you have to at least consider it every single week with what they're doing, right? Yeah. And it's decide if you want to get different or not. But I was just going on just some of the overall narrative
That's fair.
That he's ready, right? And, he's up there, it should be, Mahomes, Allen, Tua. No, I'm not seeing that yet. So I just want everyone to pump the brakes a little bit and just say, hey, he has the two current best. Well, I don't know. We talked about this on the other show, Uncle T. Who do you think's better? Hill and Waddle or Chase and Higgins?
I mean, right now, I would probably take the Miami side.
Okay.
And I'm a Cincinnati guy, but I'd probably take the Miami side right now. I think they've been doing it a little bit longer, maybe, if you will. I don't know. I mean, Chase and T, obviously long term, I think I would take excuse me, I think I would take them over the other two, but I think that's two separate discussions too, talking about what you guys, JT and Spread just talked about, though. Top 5 DFS quarterback or top 5 quarterback?
Right.
Because I'm with Spread wholeheartedly. Yeah. I'm with Spread wholeheartedly on, if you take DFS out of the equation, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback, probably. I do think he benefits quite a bit from the receivers, but we're not talking about that. From a DFS standpoint, he's making them receivers are making him look really good. So I'm kind of taking both sides, but it depends on what the question is.
I'm not arguing that Tua is a top 5 quarterback by any means, but I mean, if you're going to put him outside of the top 10 with his weapons and what he's doing with it, who are your top 10 quarterbacks then? I mean, the challenge that Tua has is when he scrambles and uses his legs, he gets crushed, right? And that's the difference between guys like him and Hurts and Mahomes and Allen, is that they are big enough to be able to sustain the hits, and he's just not, right? We've seen that. And Mike McDaniel was talking about this in his press conference this week. He said, hey, he hasn't taken the coaching. We want him to stop scrambling. We need him to stop scrambling because they need him to just throw those 10 and 15 out routes to Hill and Waddle, and that's the way that they're going to win, and they've been doing so. So I don't think there's any argument there, but at his price point, every single week, if it's going to remain in the 6Ks, and you're going to get 25 to 35 targets between Hill and Waddle, he's going to pay that off almost every single week.
6-7 this week.
6-7. It didn't move. Didn't move at all. Now they go home against the Browns defense coming off a big divisional win. And it's a spot where they've been worse on the road. It's a great spot for Tua's stags.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that at all. I think the Tua Waddle Hill side will be much more popular than the Brissett, Cooper, and possibly throwing in Chubb side was all I was trying to throw in an argument that if you wanted to save even down from Tua to him, I can make the argument if you want to get in, hold into talking about some of these other guys though. I mean, Tua should probably be up in the low 7Ks, which is probably JT's point. His salary hasn't moved really in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's been in that mid 6K range. He should probably be, based off of what he's done DFS wise, he should be in the low 7K range. But but he's not.
I mean, I agree with you. Who's playing Kyler at 7-2 over Tua at
right.
6-7?
That's my point. Them two could easily be flip flop.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Jeff Saturday? I just want to bring this up real quick. I think Irsay is an evil genius. This is a JT conspiracy theory, but I really believe this. I think Irsay knows he's going to need a top 5 pick and he needs to lose out. Let's hire Jeff Saturday, legendary center of the organization who has no coaching experience, to go on the sideline, hire the
high school Holden.
The assistant, what was it? The assistant quarterbacks coach is now the offensive coordinator. Holy shit. The Raiders are going to be a big part of my teaser this week. And the other one's going to be the Vikings, by the way, because Josh Allen's UCL's fucked up. But
Holden, can I start with this one?
Jeff said, I was actually going to go to you, Uncle T.
Only because you talked about having them in teasers and stuff. I've got a big decision. I'm still alive in a big survivor pool, and my best option is going to be Las Vegas, and they've been just awful. And before the change, I was feeling pretty good about it. But Saturday, hey, maybe he comes in for a week and the team plays a lot more relaxed and this and that. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to use
offense.
Vegas.
Does he know anybody on this team?
Yeah, that's what's crazy. It's not like, I mean, not even, he wasn't even part of the team, right?
No, he was a consultant.
I think was it Irsay came out? Was it Irsay, right?
Yeah.
He came out and said he don't care if he has any experience or not. That's what he
because
said.
he's tanking,
So,
man. You fucking hire
know.
him for the rest of the year and then get rid of him.
yeah, I think I'm going to go with. What do you guys think about that? Real quick.
The concern with Vegas was Devontae Adams or Derek Carr said something. Oh, we got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll bring that up at the end of the season. I wonder what's really going on in that locker room.
It's McDaniel. But I'm telling you right now.
What I want to get back to, I want to hold him. Why they're 2 games out?
Yeah, they ain't gonna win.
Okay, but they're 2 games out,
right,
halfway through the season. So you think he's tanking right now? Here's I think first of all, and we have people here who say this. Among them, one of the top 3-4 DFS players in the world, BigT, used to say, every time the public thinks something is stupid, he feels better about himself.
Okay.
Every time people say, hey, this is dumb, he feels better about it, right? That doesn't mean this is right or wrong. But here's the thing. Here's where I would be interested in Indianapolis. If Saturday comes in there, we're recording this on Tuesday, and Thursday he says, Matt Ryan's our starting quarterback. And here's why. They're on the road at Vegas in a dome. This is a game Matt Ryan should start. Because you could have Ryan to Pittman. You could actually have a decent offense. Ellinger is not the guy. I'm not saying Ryan's a good quarterback. You play Ryan indoors, right? And depending on what they do, if they stick with Ellinger, yeah, this game's a write-off. Bet Vegas, what have you. The thing about Vegas here, Vegas, we're going sort of game by game here more than what we normally do. But
I like it. Actually, no, I just want to get some topics. And by the way, I didn't even know he was asked. Absurd to think that the Colts are tanking. That's an actual story on The Athletic. And the other one is they've already said Ellinger is going to start, but there is
that could change.
Right. No. Not that it could change, but Matt Ryan could see time if Ellinger sucks really bad in this game. So I don't know.
He's Holden. He's going to suck.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Matt Ryan is pretty washed too, though.
But look at that division.
Yeah,
you've got Tennessee, who has no quarterback.
They're going to win.
Who has no quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you've got Indianapolis, and then the other team, right? Jacksonville, who struggled, and Etienne has been keeping them, above drowning the last few weeks here. But I don't know. I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I understand what the reporting is, but who are they going to get in the draft? I mean, who are they going to get in the draft? They've whiffed on every quarterback.
I think they have ever since Andrew Luck left. He knows he needs a quarterback. So I'm telling you right now, I don't think how does this thing work out? I know you're talking about Tony's being a contrarian. There's a lot of us that are contrarian about a lot of things. I cannot understand how this works out this week. I just don't get it. This guy walks in off the broadcast booth as a head coach with the backup, what is it? The backup quarterbacks coach as the offensive coordinator. And by the way, a week after they fired their offensive coordinator. I mean, it is a total shit show there. There's, I can't get behind it this week. I'm
not arguing the point that it's a shit show. I'm just saying I would be more interested in Indianapolis if they turn around and said, hey, we're going to start Matt Ryan. And it's Tuesday, so that could happen. There could be
early in the week.
You never know what could happen here, but the rest, I mean, what they've done with the personnel there, it's what
has Matt Ryan showed you though? There's a reason why he was benched.
Listen, people wanted to play Matt Ryan when they were going down to Jacksonville because they said Jacksonville sucked. And I said, no, please don't play Matt Ryan outdoors. Don't play Matt Ryan outdoors on the road. I just think he gives them, if I think it'll be an indication, are they tanking or not? If at some point this week you don't hear, Matt Ryan may start, we're not sure what we're going to do, right? Because if they're trying to win games, they're going to Vegas, indoors, they should be starting Matt Ryan. If they start Ellinger and they continue to start him, then yeah, I'll go with your theory. I don't think just because he hired Jeff Saturday, a guy that he loves, a guy that he idolizes, a lot of owners do that. A lot of owners do those things.
How do they work out?
It depends. I mean, you remember when George Steinbrenner hired Joe Torre and the back pages of the New York News were Clueless Joe? That worked out pretty well.
That worked out very well. Pete Carroll shocking everybody this year with Geno Smith.
That's another thing. Well. I mean, everyone wanted Carroll gone. It was a mistake to get rid of Russ. We'll talk about Russell Wilson here in a few minutes. And look at what he's done, not just with Geno Smith, but you mentioned it last week, and it's a reason why I played not just that. I was looking at it also, but third-ranked defense, DVOA, the last 5 weeks, the Seattle Seahawks.
Did you play them?
Yeah, I did play them. I didn't play as much New England as I wanted to, but I did play some of them. And so you see some wild things happen. And what's surprising to me, here's what's surprising to me about the Saturday hiring, not from an X's and O's perspective, but from an industry perspective, is when you see all these people that cover the game that have sat in the chair next to him that are like, what the fuck is this? Right? These are like guys that know him. These are people, this would be like if one of us got a random job that people were surprised at, and we're going out on Twitter and being like, what the hell is this guy doing hiring this guy? That's what surprised me, is the NFL fraternity kind of breaking and just kind of going nuts about this.
I think if it was off season, nobody would bat an eye. But the idea that you're going to become an interim coach, I mean, and like Holden said, does he even know the 53 guys on the roster?
Do you think Frank
calling
Reich
people by their numbers? Hey, 42.
Do you think Frank Reich deserved it? First of all, the biggest mistake was not changing the coaching staff after last season and trading for Matt Ryan. But do you think Frank Reich deserved another week after what you've seen out of these offensive play calls?
I think Frank Reich would be the second best coach in the AFC West right now.
Oh.
Let's move on, Holden. We'll be here all
Okay,
night.
let's start with quarterback. I'm just telling you right now. Keep an eye.
It's gonna be
on
hard
Josh
for the guy
Allen.
to timestamp it.
Keep an eye on. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's right around 45 minutes.
I think we started already. We're in
Yeah, we've been talking football.
Keep an eye on Josh Allen's UCL as Tommy John. He doesn't need Tommy John surgery, but it is messed up. It is messed up, and it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play this week. And if he did, he's going to be really, really limited. With that being said, Uncle T, I'm going to come right back at you here. Pick who is the one guy at the top of your list in week 10. I can't believe it. Week 10 already? Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going with the 3 highest price guys over 7K, if that's going to be your initial
You can do
question.
whoever you want. Pick a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to pass on Allen whether he plays or not. I mean, 8,600, you're really getting up there pretty high in the price tag for Allen. And if he's going to come in at least a little bit banged up, right, at the very minimum, right, say everything goes through, everything's good, x-rays are already negative, just a matter of what they, say he plays, he's still clearly not going to be 100%, right?
Not close.
The bad part is, before all the injury stuff came out, this was a game I was targeting is from a betting standpoint spread. It's sitting at 6 or 6.5 right now. You'd like to think that, I don't know. It feels like a lot. The 7-1 team getting 6.5 points, but I was ready to load up on Buffalo, and I think I'm going to back off of that. But from a DFS standpoint, Holden, I like Patrick Mahomes here at 7,900. You get a $700 discount. He's in a really good matchup at home against Jacksonville, and I'll be honest, I've been kind of not necessarily down on Mahomes, but just based off of the week by week, matchups that we've seen, I haven't been on Mahomes a whole lot. And I tell you what, he's been a machine. I mean, he only had 1 touchdown passing last week. He did have 1 rushing, 446 yards. He put up 38 DK points and only had 1 passing touchdown. So, and if you look at him last couple, several weeks, he's been really good and consistent. So, if there's one spend up, it'll be Mahomes for me this week. And then just a little bit below him, again, we talked about Tua for quite a bit, and there's nothing wrong clearly with him, but Justin Fields, I mean, you're coming. JT, you and I are on board. I think we're the same. We hate chasing them floor or them ceiling games, and bringing them back to the next week. But man, it's just the matchup is too juicy here for him to probably fail. I mean, 178 yards on the ground, 45 DK points, 3 touchdowns. He's got 6 now in the last 3 weeks. It's really gonna test that thought process, JT. I'll be anxious to see what you think of Fields, but it feels like you can go back to him here. Will he be as popular as last week? I don't know. You guys are a little bit better on ownerships than I am. And then again, just real quick, I know we've been at quarterback quite a bit, but I do like Jacoby Brissett on the other end of that Tua game down there at 5,400. If you wanted to get, heck, he's 2,500 off of Mahomes. Now, clearly, they're in different stratospheres as far as talent, but if you wanted to save and go down and have a 49 total, I mean, right now the KC game is, 50 total. So if you're just going by that alone, which you can't because you got to go by the team total, but I think Miami-Cleveland game is in just as good a matchup as the Jacksonville-Kansas City game.
All right, JT, excuse me. Pick one quarterback to talk about. Tell us all about him.
Daniel Jones against
Wow.
Daniel Jones at 5'7" against the Texans. You can stack him with Saquon and Slayton. You could stack him with just Saquon. You've got a matchup against a team that just gives up a ton of points on the ground. And it's a home game here. They're favored by, I think it was 5.5 or 6.5, something like that I saw earlier today. So Jones at 5'7" is interesting to me as my number one guy. And then I have a second low owned guy that we can get to too, that nobody's going to want to play.
So somebody that nobody wants to play, that's super disgusting and gross.
Yep. Can you guess?
Trevor Lawrence?
No.
Okay. No, I mean, that would be it. Trevor Lawrence would be the guy.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
Oh, no.
No way.
5'9" for Russell Wilson.
It feels so gross with him and Dulcich, though.
Dulcich is one of my favorite plays on the slate.
Well, me too, but them with the quarterback. Wow, let's go. Come on, talk me into it, JT.
Listen. Judy is 5'7". Cortland Sutton is 5'6". Right? They're in Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a Sunday night game against Kansas City. Tennessee has given up over the course of the season the second most points to opposing wide receivers, fifth most points to opposing tight ends, and it's absolutely disgusting. But I think a stack there, if I'm going to do it, and this is Tuesday, I would do Wilson, Dulcich, one of Judy or Sutton. Probably Sutton, because people are going to flock to Judy because he's been the guy getting all the targets, and maybe that flip-flops here because Tennessee will pay more attention to Judy than Sutton, and then run it back with Derrick Henry. And it's appealing. It's appealing as a contrarian stack. I don't know how much I'm going to do of it. Again, it's Tuesday. I could come off of this completely. What I know, though, is that we can't play any of these Tennessee receivers. So,
yeah, it's over.
JT stacking a 39 total. I actually like that. That's something I might be interested in.
What did we tell? What did we've spent about 15 minutes talking about the 42 total that went off.
Yep.
Because the two defenses are really not that good. Here you have a situation where Denver's defense is diminished. You've got Derrick Henry, who's just a wrecking ball every week. And you've got Tennessee's defense that just, I mean, they give up a ton of points. So
you already sold me. You don't need to oversell. You already sold me. I'm in. The price tags are good too. I agree.
Yeah. It's the price tags here. It's the price tags. So we'll see.
Spread. Who piques your interest at quarterback? Just give me one. Don't do a JT where he gives us three. Just one.
I was going to give you three.
Please don't.
I gave you two, you bastard.
Okay.
Don't make him pull the tape.
We'll agree to disagree.
All right. If I only have to pick one, I'm going back to Justin Fields.
Okay.
There you go.
I mean, we're going against Detroit. I'm really surprised. I hope that because JT said I can change my mind by Sunday.
This is the worst.
I want to see the chat
on Sunday
morning because JT, I'm usually not in the chat with you guys, or if I am, it's not the Spread of Stare name. I'm watching under a different account, but to get you more thumbs.
Of course you are. Of course you are. That's what serial killers do.
Of course, yeah. Dexter 420.
Dexter is there.
I have to see the chat. If you say that you're going to play Russell Wilson against the Tennessee defense that I thought looked pretty good against Patrick Mahomes last week, and I understand where you're coming from here, I guess, with saying that these defenses are diminished, but I don't know. It just feels a little different. Like I rank the Broncos defense and the Titans defense a lot higher than I rank the Dolphins and the Bears there defensively. So, but hey, those are the type of moves that win you tournaments. And it's something that I wouldn't even considered. So that's why I'm happy to be on here today. But I'm going to go with Fields and just keep attacking that Detroit Lions defense.
Do you want me to come at you right now with running back, or do you want to take a sit and just marinate, see what you just did? Because I'd be happy to hear your 2 running backs this week.
Who? Me?
Let's spread go first.
But I want to give, we'll give spread a minute.
Can I get a rebuttal?
Give me a minute. I like listening to you guys. I would have never even considered. Like I literally just scrolled right by his name, Russell Wilson.
I understand, but can I rebut? Right?
I mean that's what we're here for.
So, Aaron Rodgers in the Dome against Detroit, right? That game, high total. I think the second highest implied total of the week last week. Green Bay totally shit the bed, right? Divisional game, right? This is a non-divisional game. It's outdoors. No one's going to play, right? And so no one's going to play. I'm not saying I'm going all in because I'm with you. I like Fields. We talked about it. Fields against Detroit. That's a divisional game too. So you look at it and you say, hey, and it's Tuesday. We don't know what the weather's going to be like in Chicago. I will tell you one of my favorite receivers on the week this week is, as he is many weeks, is Amon-Ra St. Brown. But you look at the price tags on these Denver guys and you got to say, look, is this offense, if this offense is ever going to get clicking, the price tags are never going to be better than they are this week. Fields, Mooney, Kmet, very cheap stack last week. That went off. So it they don't need to score 1 million points. Could happen.
Well, now you brought up 4 quarterbacks. So Uncle T, I'll come to you here with 2 running backs. If you would please share these 2 gentlemen. I wonder, do we go back to the mid-tier again? We've had 2 straight weeks of the mid-tier. Mid-tier's a little bit different this week in the 6K range.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on a lot of it is going to depend on, the health of Aaron Jones. He's in the 7,200 range, but again, if Aaron Jones sits, you got AJ Dillon sitting there. If Zeke sits again, you got Pollard there. So you got DeAndre Swift.
Oh, ATN. You see that's 7-1 at Kansas City. Come on. At this point, why even bother? Leaving?
I was going to get to him. I was going to get to him, Holden, but you didn't let me finish you asked me.
He might be number 1.
Well, I'm talking about we got to get some injury news. That's why doing this on Tuesday is not the best. But yes, if you want to go out and get my 2 guys, Holden, I'm going to go right back to Derrick Henry at 8,300. I mean, if you take out the first 2 weeks of the year for Henry, he is Henry of old. I mean, he is crushing. So the only thing that he hasn't been getting much lately is any kind of dump down passes or any kind of screen passes or anything like that. So it's all on the ground, but I like him quite a bit here in this matchup. And if you're going to do what JT said, which was to maybe target, on one of your stacks, the Denver passing game, I like Henry quite a bit. I'm not sure if I'm totally on the Denver stuff or not, but I definitely understand it due to pricing. But the other guy is Travis Etienne, 7,100. Holden, you mentioned it, but again, he's at his highest price tag of the year. But I think it's warranted, right? He was 6,300 last week against Vegas. He gets an $800 price increase, but he's been getting 28 carries, 52 in the last 2 weeks. Love Travis Etienne.
He should be
love Travis
1.
Yeah, what is he?
He's 7-1. He should be 8-1.
Oh, yeah. But what I mean is it's still, but it's a great, how the algorithms or whatever.
Yeah, we're taking him, man. He's the best player of the week, Uncle T.
Yeah. I mean, well, I've got Derrick Henry 1 and I'll put ETN 2 right now, but
price included is what I mean.
Yeah. I agree with you. But again, in that mid-tier that you mentioned with your question, though, I think a lot of that mid-tier is going to depend on, again, the health of the 3 guys that are hurt. We haven't even talked about Jonathan Taylor at 7,500. If he's back, it is a pretty cheap price tag. and he does get a pretty good matchup in Vegas. I don't know if I'll go there. I haven't been on him all year, but it is a pretty cheap price tag. So, and then if he somehow doesn't go, I'll give you one cheap guy. Obviously, Deion Jackson's sitting down there at 5,400. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to take up too many and get scolded. So I got Henry 1 and ETN 2 as my top 2 guys.
JT, who's your top 2 running backs this week?
Saquon.
Oh, yeah.
8-6 against Houston. And then I've got a bunch of guys tied. A lot of it, I think, is going to be dependent on what the Josh Allen situation is. And so I'll give you a contingent situation here. Can I go to 3, or are you going to bitch like a whiny little...
I mean, you're going to do it anyway, so you might as well do it. Just whatever. We'll check out after 2.
If Allen misses, Singletary at 5-6 is very interesting because I think their plan would be to run behind that big offensive line. And then I think, if not, my favorite second guy would be Alvin Kamara at 7-4 against the Pittsburgh defense. They're on the road, but Kamara coming off a down game, and I just think the dump offs will be there. I think the passing and the rushing opportunity would be there. So I would like a bounce back from Kamara at 7-4.
That's very succinct. Thank you, JT.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Spread, would you like to slay the running back position for us?
I'm a little worried about ATN. What if they fall back down like 17-0?
He's fine.
I'm gonna
get his work.
Let me jump in because I attacked Spread earlier.
Yeah.
This smells like a bust spot for ATN at high ownership.
I'll take ETN over Kamara.
Oh yes.
I didn't say I wanted ETN versus Kamara. I'm saying
I know. I threw it out there.
All right. Well,
Spread bringing up the contrarian side of things. Let's go, Spread.
I know why I wouldn't be surprised.
I like that. Good.
I mean, I think
we can't always agree.
He's higher.
I like that he's bringing up a different point of view.
He's going to get a ton of dump offs. He's going against Pittsburgh. Yeah, I like Kamara, and I think the one guy. So first of all, you guys all made great points. Tony Pollard is also in an interesting spot, I think, here at 6,500, going against the Green Bay defense that hasn't been able to stop the run at all. What's up?
You got to see the Zeke situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, does it matter?
It does, unfortunately. Yes. I mean, it shouldn't matter, Spread. You're absolutely right. It shouldn't matter, but
it does.
It does.
It sucks because everybody but Jerry Jones, maybe Jerry Jones even knows. Jerry Jones probably knows.
Jerry Jones doesn't know what day it is.
He just gave too much. You gave him too much money, and he's got to stick with him. Listen, I always like paying up for wide receiver over running backs. We've been able to find the mid-tier running backs though, so it's interesting because there's not as many on the surface. GT, any lean on which running back we'd take in Miami with Wilson and Mostert this week?
None of them.
None of them. Just total fade spot. Uncle T, you're fading too?
Yep.
Spread, you too? All right.
Yeah.
All right. These are mid-tier options.
It hurts because
I thought running back was easier last week. Even though like I didn't have any mixing in there, it just felt like there were so many good options at 6K that it made you could just spend up for the wide receivers. I think it's tougher this week.
It hurts because of how bad Cleveland has been against the run, but when you see, like Uncle T said, when you see a basically 50% split, it comes down to which one of those guys gets in the box to get you to min cash. And that's not the game that we're playing.
All right. The guy I'm going to look into as the week goes on is Devin Singletary. If Case Keenum is the quarterback, I want to see if there's check down and possibilities there, maybe a little bit more work. So they take it out of his hands. Maybe James Cook, who I saw get featured really early in that game last week. I know you're shaking your head. I get it. They might have to run the ball a lot more this week. But Devin Singletary is the guy that I'm going to look into as the week goes on. Uncle T.
Holden, can I bring up one other guy real quick since we're in that kind of mid-tier? And I don't know what to do with this guy because I haven't played him at all. And I was on the wrong side of Swift 2 weeks ago.
No.
Jamal Williams, 24 carries. I'm just throwing it out there. So are they going to go back to where Swift, again, it's that situation where if you think Jamal Williams is going to get 24 carries, is he not interesting at 5,900 against Detroit?
Oh, I
Or
think
against,
Swift
Chicago?
is dead, though. Don't bother with Swift. The coaching staff's already come out. They're like, he can't handle the workload. We're cutting it back. And you see, he's just not getting any carries. They'll dump it down to him. He's not getting carries.
I do think Williams is potentially a sharp play here. Understanding the fact that Jared Goff is going to be outdoors and understanding how bad Chicago has been against the rush since all those trades. But spread, we need to hear more from you about running back. Holden cut you off unnecessarily.
He was done.
No, he's not done.
That's fine. I mean, I don't really
See?
have that much more. I thought running back was really hard this week. I think this is definitely a week that I'll be listening to you and AP on Sunday morning, and I'll go ahead and decide then.
I would insult you, but I don't want to be next on the target list. So thank you for being.
Hey, Uncle T, 2 wide receivers, any price range. Who is it?
Why are we limited, Holden?
Because we've done an hour already, and I'm sick of doing this. That's why.
You can't just like go.
I don't want to be around here for an hour and a half.
You can't go blaze a
I don't
bowl
want to
real
be
quick
hanging
and
out with
chill
you guys for 90 minutes. I want to go over there. I want to watch a
JT,
show tonight.
Do you know how to
watch
Dragon again?
What are you gonna watch that's so important?
I'm
He's
going
gonna
to watch
pull
House
up
of the
the porn
Dragon again.
stuff
I will
and-
watch some porn, probably. Yes. There's a lot going on tonight. So spread. That's why I'm
JT, can you
keeping
shut
it to
this
2
show
at a
down when
position.
we're done? We'll let Holden go, and we'll go as long as we
You
need
can't
to.
because
Yeah.
I got the controls over here. That's the problem.
He's gonna pull up some male bukkake.
Now watch
Yeah.
this. Watch this. Hey, ask Uncle T to talk. I'm asking you to unmute, Uncle T. Hold on a second.
The guy gets a haircut, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
I hit the button wrong. I got a text coming.
No,
in
you
from
didn't.
Big
I
T.
muted you.
We got Sergeant Kushner over here, just running a tight ship.
I
Last time he
forgot I
muted
got
me.
the controls.
Last time he muted me, it didn't work out real well for him. Big T just asked me if Holden's trying to cut the show off at an hour again.
That-
Do you
tell
want
him
me
yes.
to out you, or do you want to stick on here
No,
until
tell
we
him
say
yeah.
we're done?
Oh,
You guys
tell
are
him yes.
disturbing. You're disturbing Quinn. She moved.
Yeah.
She moved earlier.
I have a very
too.
open relationship when it comes to these things.
All right, two wide receivers. That's all I get. Wow.
I'm gonna give
I
3.
prefer you do 0, but I got to give you something.
Is Allen playing or not?
Who?
If Josh Allen plays, I like Stephon Diggs at 8,300.
Okay, even if his elbow's cranky,
If
you'd
he's
still
going to put
do
it this way, if he goes out there on Sunday, he's more
Okay.
or less going to be 100%. I know I talked about it earlier that he might not be, but I like Diggs in the mid tier. I like Olave and Cooper. There, I'll give you 3.
That
You
was
won't
really
even let
good.
me give any analysis.
Would you
on
like
it.
to
I'll just say,
expound on one of those?
Well, you basically are.
All right, JT.
Let's
feel
take a
free to
step back.
expound on your wide receiver choices.
Let's take a
I
step
No,
mean,
he
back.
doesn't do that to
Holden.
JSU when he's on the show with JSU, right? I mean, JSU
Holden.
can break down
Holden.
someone's
Yeah.
dribble.
Let's
for
do it
45
like
minutes
this.
up the lock.
Let's regroup here for a minute. When you ask one of us a question about one of the positions, you don't give us stipulations on anything. You give it to us, and we'll talk however long we want to freaking talk.
But I've already told you that I'm sick of
me-
hanging out with you,
Well, then,
and I want to go. So,
Then
and
I mean,
unfortunately,
we'll get a
I have
new
the
host next
controls
week.
over here, Uncle T.
we'll
There's
get a
nothing
new
we
host.
can do. We're
I
in a
think what
pickle.
happened.
We're
I
in a
think what
pickle.
happened is because we didn't have spread with us last week, Uncle T.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
You
I like
listed kind of a long list at each position. It was tough.
Olave against that Pittsburgh defense, and I like
else?
Cooper because I think.
Why do you like Cooper on the road when he doesn't do anything on the road? He goes out.
So since he hasn't done it in the past, he definitely isn't going to do it this week,
hasn't
right?
done it
No
in his
matter what the
career.
game
He
script
hasn't
is.
done it in his career.
Let's play the
No matter
number
what the
one
game
wide
script
receiver
is.
with a
All
guy
right.
who has an elbow injury, and then Amari Cooper in this spot. Uncle T, I like how you're thinking.
I mean,
Contrarian.
JT he shit on me 2 or 3 times tonight, but I like that though.
Listen, you hurt the ones you love, and I expect you did it to me. You did it to me.
But clearly, since he doesn't play good on the road, he clearly can't have a game this week, though. There's just no way. I mean, there's no way he can do it this week. 6,500 on the road in a trailing, for the most part, probably game script. There's no way he can come through spread, right?
Kamara versus Cooper.
Hey, Holden, can you mute JT for a minute?
Hold on one second, Uncle T. Let me see here. Hey, JT, I muted Uncle T for you, pal. There's no look. He's trying to There's no way I'm putting you on mute when
I just
when
went
he
right
asks.
back off mute, you donkey, because
There you
I got
go.
access.
That's all you got to
to
do is I figured it out. All you got to do is hit the unmute button.
I didn't know I was on mute before, you donkey. Oh, spread, recover here. It's unbelievable the shit I'm taking here from JT. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I mean,
Welcome to my world.
We just never play Amari Cooper on the road. He's just out of the player pool.
Yeah, let me mark that down.
9 games a year. Okay,
Mark that down.
Yeah, I gotta write that
Cooper on the road
too.
ever.
Go take a look. Listen, do me a favor before you pop off. Go take a look at his home road splits for like the last 3 fucking seasons. I don't know
again,
what this
JT, those do mean a lot this week. Those will factor in Sunday at 1. Those will factor in those previous stats. Those will factor in at 1. I understand.
All right, whatever.
I'm just
you know what?
And it took you this long to figure out all you had to do is hit mute
Have
to
fun with
unmute yourself.
You're so happy about that, Holden, aren't you? You're so happy.
It's just the best.
Oh,
But good
how about,
job
I like
cracking the
Judy.
code.
I like Judy and Sutton in the mid 5Ks with
Okay.
JT. Can we get back arm in
I
arm?
think you take one of those guys. I don't think you put them both in there.
Wait a minute. You now you like them? You guys
I
shit
didn't
all
like
over
them.
me
I
for
did
talking
not
about
like
Judy
them
and Sutton
before. Now JT, I think's been
this has
JT's
gotten
pulling
out
a
of
Holden
hand.
this week. He's not listening.
This has
I'm
gotten out of
listening.
hand.
I'm listening. You guys all attack me for suggesting it was absolutely insane to play Russell Wilson at under
That was
6
not me.
And now
That was
you're
not
telling me you like his receivers because they're cheap. I just
Holden,
play
a
'em
good
both.
host here, would remember what Uncle T
No
said
worries.
when JT was going on his rant, and I actually liked it because of the pricing. I backed you when spread kind of came at you a little bit.
Yeah, I was the
said it's
one
due
that was
to-
anti. I didn't
I
want to.
said it was
I didn't
due
want
to
to ride
pricing.
Bronco country.
I can't. I'm scared of spread. So it's not.
All right, let's talk about who hasn't talked about receiver. I'll take over the show here. Okay,
All right.
JT, give me 2 or 3 guys here that you like. Are you spending up for Hill at 9,100? You got Cooper Kupp there at 9K against Arizona. Where are you going here?
No, I think this Arizona Rams game disappoints. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6'9" is one of my favorite plays on the slate. I like him quite a bit here. And then, I haven't really made a lot of decisions yet because we've got some news here with Buffalo, etc. I do like Sutton at 5'6" for a bounce back game. So I'll give those 2. And then one guy that just the price jumps out to you, right? If he had a really terrible game this week, but it's a guy that because the pricing, and I know you guys have looked at it, pricing seems a little tight this week because we don't have those value running backs. We don't have a lot of value wide receivers. The cheap quarterback options are risky. Robbie Anderson is 3.2K against a Rams defense that has been getting torched. They didn't get to do it against Tampa Bay because it was the game that it was and Tom Brady and all those things. But Kyler to Robbie, one deep ball at 3-2, he puts your lineups up top.
Yeah, I like that. I like that spread. So
let me ask you guys about 2 guys that jumped out to me because I'm looking for value here. I think last week that running back position was stacked. I might want to spend up at running back this week. The 2 that I thought, could be kind of, 1%ers again. And you guys can go ahead and laugh at my play since I've got you guys. Kadarius Toney at 5K. I love targeting that Jacksonville team, and I think that KC's going to go off this week. I think that Tennessee defense is tougher that you're giving it credit for, JT, and I think it's going to be like turning down the difficulty level on the video game for the Chiefs this week, and they're just going to be back in and scoring in the 40s. And the other one, and this, I got the idea when you mentioned Daniel Jones. What about Wan'Dale Robinson at 4,700? Would I be crazy if I played either of those 2 guys?
Rather play Slayton at 4,600 for $100 cheaper. He seems to be the guy that Jones has a camaraderie with there, chemistry with, what have you. My concern, first of all, I mean, we're talking about wide receivers, but Kelsey at 7-8, that's why I want to pay down at wide receiver because I want Kelsey in my lineups. I don't know how heavy I want to go overall on the Chiefs because big favorites at home, they should handle this team, right? They should really have an easy time with this team. And that means you're going to have a bunch of guys getting involved other than Kelsey. So I like Kelsey. It's hard to pick anyone else out of this Kansas City offense. And I don't know that I want to spend, the 19,000 to pair Kelsey with Mahomes. So I like playing Kelsey, paying down a quarterback. Kelsey will be my exposure to the Chiefs, so I think we'll do well. And then going other spots, just because, Tony at 5K, he got one touch earlier in the game, one target, and then wasn't targeted there. Mahomes said it before the season, and we're all reluctant and refusing to believe him that
he's going to spread it around.
It's going to be a Russian roulette, right? It's going to be whoever the hot man is. I would say Valdez-Scantling hasn't done anything recently. He's down to 4-1. I wrote him down just as a tournament inclusion for like 10% exposure, just because any one of these guys could go nuts in this spot. So I agree with that, but I think it's tough to pick out for DFS.
JT, you haven't even talked about McCall Hardman. Again, nobody likes to play him, but last 4 games he's been double figures for 4,500. I think you can do worse than that.
So I was going value, I should go there then and just throw Tony out the window, huh?
I don't mind the Wan'Dale Robinson call, but I do agree with JT. I'd rather go down to Slayton, just $100 cheaper there if I was going real cheap. So yeah. And then let's talk about tight end next. So JT, you mentioned Kelsey. Oh, hold on. I didn't even see you back there.
Keep going, dude. I'm going to sit here.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be sober doing this anymore.
Go ahead and get you some ice cream. Get you some ice cream. We'll finish up.
Once we got to an hour, I just couldn't do it anymore sober. Yeah. It's just too much.
Go get some ice cream and you'll be all right there, Joe Biden.
I'm listening.
JT, you mentioned Kelsey that you like quite a bit, but you got Hawkinson there that in his first game with Minnesota, 9 targets, caught all 9 balls, but for only 80 yards. So looks like he got, maybe some underneath stuff last week. Are you interested in him at 5.3K? I have interest in Njoku at 4.1K if he's healthy. And then down in that low 3K range, you got Kmet and Dulcich. So who are you interested in here? 2 tight ends.
Kelsey and Dulcich would be the guys that I start with.
Can we get a little analysis on each? A quick one.
Yeah, Dulcich, you're looking at 17 targets in his first 3 games with Russell Wilson. He's 3.4K against a team that is, 5th worst against the tight end in the Tennessee Titans over the course of the season. So that's an easy punt. Kelsey, he's a wide receiver 1. We talk about this on the Sunday show all the time, that even at 7-8, just in this matchup, this seems like a spot where he could go for 150 and 2 and just smash. Just seems like such a great spot here for him. So I like those 2 guys. I do like your Njoku call because Miami also does not defend in the middle of the field. Probably stick with those 3 guys for the most part.
Spread, who you got here? Give me 2 quick ones and we'll get out of here.
I have another question too.
Is that chalky? Is that stupid? Going back to him, right? If I take Kmet and I would run with Fields.
Do you think Kmet's gonna? Kmet had the ceiling of ceiling games for him.
Yeah.
Last week,
he had to get in the box twice too to get there.
So there's 2 arguments there, right? That I'm buying high and that it's stupid. I'm throwing my money away, or that Fields has finally found something. He's starting to get some chemistry with one of these receivers, right? And that maybe he's going to continue to build on it.
Spread, he could get that, but I think it was more matchup based last week. I think it was a good matchup.
Okay,
that's the reason why we like Njoku this week, is because of the way that they play or don't play the running backs. I think the receiver that you look for on Chicago is Mooney at 5.5, or Claypool is 4.8 with another week with the playbook underneath him. So
GT, did Peoples-Jones has he been getting more of the work with Njoku down? Peoples-Jones has stepped up. Like, I'm just waiting for the ceiling game. He's got the floor now. I'm waiting for the ceiling. I love this kid.
Yeah,
you love that guy.
If you look, so here's another thing, which Uncle T and Spread will savage me. But if you look at the home road games and you see what Peoples-Jones versus Cooper has done, Peoples-Jones is the guy that gets more action on the road because Cooper takes the fucking day off. So they're in Miami. Cooper's going to have himself a nice weekend. I think Peoples-Jones and Njoku would be the way to go here.
So you're saying that he may go out on the town on Saturday night and enjoy himself a little bit and then throw in a dud. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what it is, honestly. All kidding aside, I do look at this stuff. I don't take it as gospel, but when someone has shown a propensity over a number of seasons, this was the same thing in Dallas. It was the same thing when he was with Oakland at the time, is he would have good games at home, terrible games on the road. And I don't know why it is. I'm not trying to explain it.
Maybe he can't sleep in hotels.
Maybe it is. Sometimes I have a difficult time sleeping.
What would be the number he gets
I'm
to?
not good at it either.
What would be the number he gets to, JT, Sunday, that would make you think, well, you know what? He did have a pretty good game on the road. What is it? 12, 15, 18? What is it?
Uncle T.
I don't want to take a victory lap on you, but I think I want to. But
like you are, I'm playing in large field tournaments trying to get to the top. I need a ceiling game, which means I need 35 points.
Oh, geez. No, I meant for you to say that he wasn't a good play because of the home road split. I don't want to belabor the point.
I don't know what his
definitely
average,
agree with you.
His average on the road, I think, is like
6, 8,
yeah.
5.
So what are we arguing about?
I want to be able to get a victory lap next Tuesday on this show when he puts up maybe 20.
If he gets 18 points, I'll concede your point that it's possible that maybe this just is in a very contrarian oxymoron over 3 seasons worth of fucking data that he can have a good game on the road.
That's a great point.
Coors Lights are kicking it. He's dropping the F-bomb on Uncle
No,
T.
I love it. I can tell that JT's in NBA mode because home road splits are like just such an NBA way to cap.
Spread,
spread. I mean, well, Holden wants to get out of here and do whatever.
No, I don't anymore. I feel great now.
He emptied his bladder. He's good.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't it.
But spread. This is a big. I think people underrate this. Like, and I'll take last night for example. And I'm not casting stones at anyone because I didn't have a great night in NBA. But we had a 15 game slate spread.
Mm-hmm.
A 15 fucking game slate. There were 8 teams on a back to back. One of those teams, the Lakers, I understand the situation. No LeBron James. Guys were projected to be 50% owned on a back-to-back on the Lakers, a team that everybody's been shitting on all season long. 50% owned. Are those good plays?
No. I mean,
and again, I understand the spot. I understand this. But when you look at this and you say, all right, what do I need to get to the top? I need for all of my players in my lineup generally, or at least 7 of 8, 9 of 10, whatever it is, to have the absolute ceiling performance that they're going to have all season long, whatever it is, all week long, all month long, what have you. And you look and you see what people have done the last, like I would never, like if Mixon was on the slate, Uncle T brought it up before, I would never play him. I would just cross him out. Etienne, ceiling game last week. He's going into a tougher matchup where they're big road dogs. I'm not a believer in the Jacksonville team. I know what he's done. I can't argue that. Price is up. I'm going to cross him out. If I lose, I lose. Did the same thing with Jacobs last week when he went to New Orleans. Crossed him off, right? It's hard to do because the field is saying, man, this guy's been so good. He's been great. I understand all that. But in order to win, it's predictive analytics. It's not past tense analytics. It's what's going to happen this week, right? And so it's not easy to do this. And that's kind of where I come from when I'm looking at this is like, how do I figure out who's going to be the best team this week? If New England was on the slate this week, I would not play their defense, right? I would be like, no, they're not going to have that repeat performance. Mixon. That's why Fields is tough. Fields is tough because the price hasn't moved and he's got the best matchup on the board. But so did Aaron Rodgers last week.
The only argument I make with Fields, and it was kind of like with Komet, is you have a young player that's kind of coming into his own.
Yes.
He's shown so much talent, you know, even when he was drafted. Yes. Terrible situation. And it feels like this new coaching, you know, Eberflus and Getzy, the coordinator,
they're getting it together,
kind of figured out, hey, we don't have Aaron Rodgers. We have a Lamar Jackson type of guy, right? So we need to freeze these defensive ends. Yeah. The great thing about the way that they're running Fields is it's slowing down the pass rush when he is in the pocket.
And that's why I say that's what I mean by Fields is tough for me this week, because I like him. And I normally, as Uncle T, correctly said, it's the same way he looks at things. A guy who scores 42, goes for almost 200 yards rushing, I normally wouldn't want to play him, but he's got a home game against one of the most friendliest defenses in DFS for passing and rushing. His price didn't move all that much. So yeah, I'm going to have some Justin Fields, but I'm also looking to get a little bit different at guys who people don't want to play, who can maybe surprise and exceed their price point, right? Because this isn't like who I like. If it was who I liked or who I think are the best players, I'd have Mahomes, Hill, Saquon, Diggs, Kelsey, right? That's how I would do it. That's how you would do it, right? If I could build a fantasy team without salary. But that's not the world we live in.
So if you do play Fields, right, and I assume you will have some exposure.
Yes, absolutely.
Who's the one guy that you want in there with him? Mooney? Because you say you don't want to go back to Cole.
Yeah, I think Mooney, just because of how bad Detroit is. And I do think, even though this is a division game and it's outdoor, I mean, we'll see. The weather situation can always change with Chicago. We'll get news on that throughout the week. It was people didn't want, and I was among them, didn't want to play that Chicago game because it was in Chicago this week, but it was a beautiful day. Yeah. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. And I think Mooney at 5.5 or Claypool at 4.8. I think Claypool at 4.8. They started to get him involved a little bit. I think one of those two guys. It's the same thing. I think the running back situation there is just too difficult. Even though it looked like Montgomery was getting more of the snaps and Detroit's terrible against the rush.
It's feeling like the Zeke Pollard situation, though. Doesn't Herbert look like he has a little more juice?
Yes,
no doubt.
Herbert was so good, and then he came back, and that's when they kind of said, "Nah, forget it. Justin Fields is our RB1."
Yeah.
Spread, do you have a crossbow?
No.
Simon, get us out of here.